Hey everyone, today we're in a parking lot after we just had a torrential downpour. I just cleared off some debris from this drain by dragging my feet back and forth over it, and it's gonna take a few minutes to drain now. We just had a quick flash flood. There really was not a lot clogging it. It was pretty much just a few pieces of debris from oak trees. In the torrential rain, it got jammed over here. What you're seeing now, really illuminating it, is a whole bunch of pollen. Interesting. And this is just dumping over in the river any second. Oh, here comes a whole bunch of pollen over on the right. It's about to get sucked in. There we go. It's dropping. All gone. No more flood. Here comes all that pollen over here. Uh-oh, why do we have a whirlpool there? Oh, wow. I no longer want to be parking here. If it's going in there, that means there's no soil underneath the asphalt. You can see by the pavement right here how it's new around the drain. They just replaced this drain like 2 years ago. I remember them doing it. And yeah, because it collapsed all around it, but it looks like they didn't replace the pipe, or they did something stupid, like they probably filled it in and just paved. They probably didn't even replace it, but look at that. There is a sinkhole underneath here. There's nothing underneath the pavement here. I don't know how far that goes. So I'm gonna go ahead, drive away from this thing, and I'm gonna walk over here on foot. Hey everyone, it's been a while. We're doing an update at Kmart in Palmer, Massachusetts. Gonna take a quick look at the sinkhole. For legal reasons, they put fences up in the parking lot so you can't drive in here. They put no trespassing signs up, but we're good going in here, at least on the grassy area, because you just gotta look at property maps. In this town, they have an incredibly big tree belt. They don't own where that fence is. Also, there's a monument right here in the front of the building that's open to the public. It's about Washington passing through here during his presidency. He camped in front of the building. Well, obviously the building wasn't here. Basically nothing was around back then. But the monument is right here. We'll actually go take a quick look at that. But they cannot say I can't be on this part of it, at least. See, we're about level with the monument right here. This is called the easement tree belt. Can't say a thing about it, but we're gonna walk right here anyways and take a look at what's up with this sinkhole. So anyways, the story is why all the entrances now have fences. Somebody tried to sue the property owner for being here when they weren't supposed to and somehow falling. What a jerk. Trying to sue someone for entering somewhere you're not supposed to be. Sinkhole's definitely bigger now, and they got cones right here because they're about to do something. It's not a big hazard. It's only because I assume the culvert pipe leaving the structure has a big joint or it's cracked, allowing stuff to fill in. Now, they just replaced this a few years ago. That's why you see the patchwork. Obviously, whatever amateur Kmart hired, because Kmart is a broke business without a lot of money, they just filled the hole in and patched it. They didn't even fix the cause. Maybe the guy wasn't even educated enough to know what the problem was. But it's not a big hazard. It's not a big sinkhole, but it's going to get worse and worse over time until they replace the actual pipe or probably just patch the pipe. It's all quite stupid, and you see right here, if you can see up here, there's a blue line marked by dig safe, and that might be because there's a water main right here next to it. See, it says dig safe, the company you call before you dig anything on your property. Now we're gonna get a quick look at the Washington thing over here. We're gonna stay away from the building. Yeah, we have a video of that place the first time I ever found the sinkhole. The first time I ever found the sinkhole, that drain was clogged and the parking lot was flooded. I cleared the drain. It started making a massive whirlpool, all illuminated with the massive amount of pollen in the whirlpool. There was a bunch of pollen circling, making it look really big. But as the water started to drain, we noticed a second whirlpool next to it. It was going into a small hole into an underground cavity that slowly over the past year or two of documenting by me has got worse and worse. Now right here, they cannot say I can't be where I am now because there's a Washington Memorial here. You cannot say you can't be in this part of it. And you see that's what's messed up. The signs are, the no trespassing signs and the fence are not even put up on the store's property. Like that big sign right there, it's not technically their property. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe the easement doesn't go that far, but they definitely don't own this. Under this elm, Washington passed June 30th, 1775, and again October 22nd, 1789. On first date, tradition says he addressed the citizens of Palmer, erected by the Palmer Historic Society, June 30th, 1906. The backside does not say anything, but that is pretty cool. Now take a look at this big tree. I remember just a few years ago, believe it or not, this rotten tree actually had a few leaves on the very tip of it. And it was still alive. There was also a few other really big maple trees. And you know what ultimately killed them? The gypsy moth infestation. The European gypsy moths have wreaked havoc in this area and a whole bunch of other towns around it. I have videos from about 3 years ago. It looked like winter in the middle of June. Not a single tree had leaves on it. They defoliated absolutely everything. Leafy trees, if you defoliate them more than 3 years in a row, they will die. Pine trees usually can't survive once. Like, there's areas of this town, literally half of the forest is dead as a result. That problem, if you look at my old videos that I will link in the description, got so bad, the leafy trees, they ran out. When you would stand in the forest, it sounded like it was raining. There was so many caterpillar poops falling. And as soon as they were done with the leafy trees, they started eating the pine trees, the white pine trees with the long needles specifically. And needles were all over the ground because the stupid caterpillar would bite the base of the needle, would get one bite out of it, and it would fall to the ground because I guess they didn't know how to eat it. And once those trees were basically dead, they started eating grass. Very desperate, hungry caterpillars, destroying everything. But they have been light, the population, over the past few years. But they had a big infestation that seems to come every couple decades or so. But this time, for some reason, it lasted a couple years in a row. Let's go see what's up at this little pond, which also has a culvert right here in the front of Kmart. And what is this stuff smeared all over the ground? It looks like the crew that was marking to put the fence in maybe left one of their spray cans. No. That's just typical house paint. Someone probably dumped. And look at this, somebody dumped that too, right into the waterway. I believe there is a culvert here, actually. Maybe not. I think I've looked for this in the past and was unable to locate it, but wow. It sucks for the truckers. They used to use this as overnight parking just a few weeks ago before these fences went up. Just all full of tractor trailers parking. the store leaves their lights on, so they felt safe parking here. The reason the store, even years after being abandoned, leaves all the lights on is because it stops vandalism. If it was a dark building, the entire front of it would be covered in graffiti, but because it's lit up, it's too much of a risk to put graffiti all over the structure. They leave all the parking lot lights on. Even the street sign, the big Kmart sign near the road, lights up all night. And I wonder how many people over the years have pulled into the parking lot thinking big Kmart's open. Now, why does somebody have to be such a scumbag and throw this in the water? Yes, it's wood. It's not really a big contaminant. It's wood and a few chunks of metal. Oh, it's so slimy. It's been in there a little bit of time. Can we get the rest of it out? I can't get it all out. My boots aren't deep enough to get in that far. Alrighty, everybody. I hope this video was interesting. We're going to be leaving now. One more culvert right here next to the road where we parked. And this seems to be working fine. It's basically just drainage ditch. And you see it comes in from the asphalt. And now the truckers gotta park here because they don't have their place anymore. Gonna be a nice sunset. Thanks for watching. And while we're in Palmer, we're about to go look at the lake drain. Now we're in the parking lot across the street. Somebody has thrown out a printer. Somebody has dumped a few bags of yard waste. Who uses a plastic bag for yard waste? Have they never heard of a paper bag for yard clippings that will actually decompose wherever you may dump it? They're cheaper for the size. And especially in a town like this, who doesn't compost? Everyone has big yards. It's not like you're in a tight little city property. Crossing the street. Bet the DOT has done nothing. It's pretty muddy. Bunch of people pulling in here. DOT has done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing done by the Mass DOT. But the pond is a bit frozen. Technically, by its depth. That's why we call it a lake, but nothing to see. Nothing will have changed since my last update that we walked inside. This thing is not holding back water yet, but the beavers are working on it. It's only a matter of time before that pit fills up, the pond gets too high, and it goes over the road. Just a matter of time before disaster strikes like it used to. And I wonder, what are those piles right there? Did somebody back in their pickup truck and dump a bunch of stuff? Or is that stuff the DOT has personally pulled out? But honestly, it doesn't look like the DOT has pulled out anything. I strongly think last time this thing was unclogged, since they built it, it was one of the neighbors. I don't think it was them. They're not keeping up with it, and they also have broke their promise of weekly beaver checks. Thanks for watching.